Hey everybody, Ashton here with Gents with This Week in Fragrance for the week ending 6/11/17. So I know I didn't do this last week. I was in the process of moving to this new house. This is my office area, so I'm going to be doing this next to the fireplace. No green screen this week. I've got some new releases to jump into, so let's kick this off. I'm still unpacking, it's really hectic, so I'm not going to go into the YouTube videos this week. I apologize once again. Let's kick this off with Byredo. I originally saw this on Manny from Cascade Scent's Facebook group, his fragrance forum. If you haven't joined that and you're on Facebook, make sure to join that. And while you're at it, join my group too, link in the description. But Byredo is collaborating with IKEA, the furniture manufacturer. There's a link in the description also for this that has a little bit more information. I'm really interested to see what they do. It's kind of a strange pairing other than they're both Swedish. But while we're at Swedish people working together, maybe Byredo could get with Dada Life and make a fragrance because they're one of my favorite producer DJ groups. So maybe those two can hook up. Mont Blanc has launched a new flanker for their Emblem line. This one is called Emblem Absolute because apparently every line of fragrances has to have an absolute or absolute flanker at some point. This one is going to be composed of warm woods and cold spices. Has top notes of pear, mandarin, and cardamom that lead into a heart of lavender, pink pepper, fruits, and honey, and then vetiver, patchouli, and moss in the base. Now this next thing is going to be the main thing that we cover this week, at least in my opinion, and that is the House of Burberry launching what is basically their own private line called Burberry Bespoke. Now I'm sure most of you out there are aware that Christian Dior has a private line, Chanel has their Les Exclusives line, lots and lots of designers do this, like Mugler has their own kind of private line. Basically, it's almost like their niche version of fragrances. The most well-known is probably Tom Ford, where Tom Ford has private blends like Tobacco Vanille and Tuscan Leather, and then they have their normal Tom Ford fragrances like Grey Vetiver and Tom Ford for Men. So realistically, this has probably been coming for a while because it seems like every major designer house does something like this. And it's kicking off with 7 fragrances. They are all being done by Francis Kurkdjian. Now each one of these 7 fragrances has a couple of sentences that kind of, try to set the mood for the fragrance. So if you want to read those, go to Now Smell This or Fragrantica and look up the Burberry Bespoke collection. I'm not going to read through each one of those because it would just kind of be a time killer. Fragrance 1 is called High Tide. It is crisp and green marine notes with oak moss absolute, settled with fresh jasmine. Fragrance 2 is Amber Heath, a modern amber scent with golden vanilla, patchouli, and undertones of ambergris. Scent 3, Tudor Rose, a shimmering scent of Bulgarian damask rose and May rose, finished with notes of patchouli and ambergris. Number 4, Hawthorn Bloom, fresh and gentle florals, orris and violet, balance musk, patchouli, and jasmine. Number 5, Garden Roses, fragrant Bulgarian rose layered with Italian lemon oil and vetiver. Fragrance 6, Antique Oak, captivating oud and sensual leather, earthy refined saffron and papyrus. And lastly, Wild Thistle. This has lush evergreen leaves and galbanum oil with floral notes and geranium leaf. So some of these appeal more to me than others do. Antique Oak sounds really interesting. Wild Thistle might be cool. A couple others that I'm kind of interested in, but if I had to pick one, Antique Oak is the one that I would like to check out the most. So the big issue with these though is that they're extremely limited at this point. They're only going to be offered in select stores across the planet at this point. Those are going to be in Milan, Paris, London, Dubai, Kuwait City, New York City, and Beverly Hills. And that's it. Now I'm assuming at some point that they're going to release these either online or with a wider distribution. But at this point, you're gonna have to be in one of those cities if you want to pick one of these up. which sucks. Coach is releasing a new fragrance for men. Now, they did have a leatherwear series that's been discontinued. It was like leatherwear number 1, 2, and 3. Number 3 at this point is really hard to find. It's very expensive. Number 2, I believe, is the easiest to find, but they have had men's fragrances before, and those were actually pretty good ones. They're coming out with a new fragrance called Coach for Men. Coach for Men is supposed to be a woody scent with a fresh opening. It has top notes of pear, bergamot, and kumquat, a heart of cardamom, coriander, and geranium, and base of vetiver, suede, and ambergris. Now, there's a possibility that this is going to kind of slot in with fragrances like Sauvage, Dylan Blue, Aqua Atlantique, stuff like that, just based off of looking at the note breakdown. But it could be something entirely different. We'll have to wait and test it before we know for sure. Prada L'Homme Intense for men and also for women has been launched. Now, I saw on my Facebook group actually maybe a few weeks ago that somebody located this at a duty-free while they were traveling before it had been even announced anywhere online. So that was pretty cool. I believe he actually bought a bottle as well. I haven't smelled it myself, but I'm looking forward to it because I really like Prada L'Homme. Apparently, this promises a multi-layered experience. It's supposed to enhance the scent of iris and amber with notes of leather and patchouli, while tonka gives it an oriental signature. The women's version is a scent based off of tuberose and a thorough exploration of the flower. And also, if anybody's been waiting on this, I'm not sure how many of you out there have been, but Valentino Uomo Aqua is now available for purchase in the United States at Nordstrom and on Nordstrom's website. As of right now, if you go to Nordstrom.com, it says that Valentino Uomo Aqua is a Nordstrom exclusive. I don't know how long that's going to be, but as of right now, it's $108 for a 100 ml bottle, so it's not cheap. Now some information on some discontinuations. Serge Lutens is discontinuing a number of their fragrances. I will leave those right here so I don't have to read through all of them. I'll also leave it in the description. So if you're a fan of any of these or if you've been thinking about picking them up, you may want to do that sometime in the near future. And a couple of codes for you. FragranceNet, 35% off code, BYPE6. It's the exact same code as it was a couple of weeks ago. Tried it online just before making this video and it still works. And then for Notino, a 10% off code, /10. Now, I'm not 100% sure if that code is still going to be good as of tomorrow because I read that it may be a code that actually expires on the 11th. So if that's the case, I apologize, but we'll have a new Notino code for you next week. All right, guys, that's it for this week in fragrance for the week ending 6/11/17. Also, if you guys are interested, I've been talking to Manny from Cascade Scents, and we were kicking around the idea of having people from other channels, like Timmy from Imagine Scent, maybe Bradley from Triple Ink, if he would be into it, Manny, of course, or anybody else, you know, that is a creator that has a channel, if they wanted to kind of present things on This Week in Fragrance, or maybe they can do a segment and we can kind of work together and maybe build this thing up with everybody in the community. If that would interest you guys, please let me know. As always, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.